Hi, I'm Karma Kitaj. I'm your host for A Livelihood, New Careers as We Age. And today I'm going to introduce you to a man named Arthur Mark. And Arthur has been good enough to come and visit with us today from Rhode Island. So welcome.
Yes, quite a distance.
I know, quite a distance.
Took a whole hour and a quarter.
So I appreciate
Well, Karma, thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you for
coming.
inviting me. It's always fun to talk.
So we want to get a sense from you about where you've been and how you got there and some of the pitfalls and obstacles that you've encountered.
Okay,
and
you asked for it.
Right. So I know we spent some time together last week, so I know that you have done an incredible number of things in your life, starting out with doing some acting training as a college student, but then you got away from that. So why don't you start there and tell us what happened there?
Yeah, well, I went to college. I went to Emerson College, as a matter of fact, to be an
locally
actor.
Here in Boston.
Yeah, to be an actor, and I had a year of that. Went into the Army. When I got out of the Army, found because of family circumstances, I couldn't continue. There was no money. So I had to do something else. It was suggested I go to Teachers College, Boston, and get a degree at least. I'm a first generation. At least you could fall back on teaching. When I graduated from college, this was with a BS in education, I went to New York. I still thought maybe I could go into theater. I have this, education to fall back on. So I went to New York and got my picture taken and a resume developed. And for a very short time, this was only over the summer, I received some offers and things that I could do. But none of it materialized fast enough. And I was living on one yogurt a day. I began to see that this wasn't going anywhere. And so I took a position in teaching job, and education was my life for many years. I began to find that I was limited by the school system itself. I felt the real problem in education was the training of teachers. And although I did have student teachers and all of that, there wasn't enough. I decided I really wanted to go into secondary, higher education in any case. I was able to do that some years later. But between that and that, I became a headmaster of an independent school where I could write curriculum with the teachers and parents, when I could do all sorts of other things with the children. So it was always important for me to be creative, to always have something challenging to do.
And you've always been interested in how to bring the arts into the curriculum.
Well, this became a very serious interest of mine when I then went into one of the Pennsylvania state colleges. It was East Stroudsburg University. I began to develop my interest in the arts and education, and I felt, training of teachers, very important. But the problem with the school curriculum is that the arts are not central to the school curriculum, and I felt that was very, very important. So I developed a national not-for-profit organization called Business and Industry for the Arts in Education, and did a lot of work with that. But let me go on to what it is that we mainly want to talk about today, and that is my transition from education to being an actor. And that happened when I emeritized, as we say, from the university. I began to do some heart storming. I think it's my word. I don't think there is such a word.
Storming.
Heart storming.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what else do you want to do in your life?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's missing? What is it that you haven't done that perhaps you feel you should have done or would love to do or what have you?
But what even got you to that place of heart storming? Were there some things you noticed?
I felt, I don't want to go to another industry. I retired to give it more time, business, arts, and education. And I love doing all those things up to a point, but yeah, I can administrate, I can teach, I can do that, but there was something undeveloped, I felt, in me, and that if I didn't give it a go, then, you know, when if not now? And so the heart storming brought out the possibility of going into theater, acting. I worked at Teachers College, and that gave me the extra money to prepare for a career in theater. Well, how to go about doing that? I did speak with my daughter, who was in the business, but no help from my daughter. Not that she wasn't willing to give it, but I wanted to do this on my own. I wanted to start from the bottom and do it right, or to pay my dues, as it were. So she suggested a course to take where I met agents, and I met casting directors and people like that, and did things on TV, you know, in a studio like this, so they could see what I was doing. And from that...
And I think you told me that most of the people in that course were, what, 40 years younger than you, maybe?
Yeah, and I'd get looks like, is he an agent? A producer? Should I know him? You know? Because you have to make contacts in that business. Without contacts, forget about it. You can't make a life in the business, as they say. So from that course and following up on agents and so forth, I began to get work. Then you had to be able to join the unions, and they all had prerequisites, things that you had to do. Well, step by step, and I'm only talking about a year, I was able to get into all of the unions. So I went to work, and I did as an extra or as a stand-in or what have you, about 20 films. That isn't such a big deal. You're just one of the crowd, but if you're a union person, you're in front of the crowd. So that's okay.
Well, we have a little clip today that we could show about, it's called Love Me Tender.
Oh, right? That's a funny
little
one.
clip of one of the films that you did. Put that up.
What do you want?
Is there a Karen Cooper that lives here?
Yeah, she's my wife. She won't be back for a while.
You are Karen Cooper's husband. Well, do I have some good news for you?
What, did Karen get hit by a moving train or something? Not that I know of. Damn. What are you here for again?
Mr. Cooper, I am from the Sweepstakes of America, and you have just won $10 million.
$10 million? How's this possible?
Well, your wife filled out an entry form, and her numbers matched ours. You are our official winner.
It always cracks me up, that one.
So sounds like you're still very active, doing all kinds of things that you're interested in, huh?
That's right. Yeah. And I have a little time to write poetry and paint.
Well, I so appreciate your being here and hearing your story, and I think it's inspirational. And I'm sure a lot of people will be heartened by the idea that maybe they can
Well, Carmi,
do
you're
some
an
of these
inspiration.
things. Well, thank you.